Hey everybody, KCML Railfan here. Today we're going to be doing an HO scale product review of the brand new Walthers Mainline SD75Ms / SD70M, as Walthers is also doing the UP, CN, BNSF H2, and Santa Fe models. As you can see, the box is the typical Walthers Mainline with the open blister where you can see the locomotive inside. Wow, ain't she a beauty, alright? So the box is your typical Walthers Mainline packaging. On the side you have Walthers Mainline EMD SD75M locomotive, Santa Fe number 222. This is the DCC ready version. HO scale obviously. Back of the box with all the copyright, you name it. And the side you got Walthers Mainline value variety for 8 model railroaders. And it's HO scale. So let's get started on the unboxing, shall we? As you open it on the left side. And here's the locomotive protected with this little plastic tray inside the foam. When you get this model, you do have the instruction paper, which there's the instruction paper, which just says congratulations, yada yada yada. When you open it up, you have, tells you how to convert to DCC, oil and lubrication. And you have your exploded parts diagram. And the list of parts for the model. As you can see, it doesn't come with any extra stuff, unlike my Dash 8 and the Gevos and Aces that I have. So to get the model out, you just lift this plastic tray out, and there's the locomotive with this little plastic sheet and handrail protectors, which help protect the model from shipping. You just push, there's a hole right here that you push the model out, and here's the locomotive with the little plastic wrap. And here's the locomotive itself. So I will get this cleaned up and we'll go ahead and do the rest of the product review. So yeah, I'll be right back, everybody. Alrighty guys, here's the locomotive out of its box as we do a quick 360 view of it. This is a pretty basically detailed locomotive. When compared to an Athearn Genesis model, you aren't really winning in the detail department, but for a nice running locomotive that doesn't have a lot of details, you really can't go wrong with this one. And the basic details on this really do remind me of those old 90s or early 2000s yellow box era Athearn Genesis models from when you have to put the details on yourself. I have one of those, but it's a UP SD70M and it's currently in storage. So let's get started on the review, shall we? On the front of the locomotive, we have the number boards, which don't light up, but you do have the road number stamped on it, which is number 222, along with the cab light, which do turn on when the locomotive is going forward. You do not have any windshield wipers on the front, unlike the Athearn Genesis model, but you do have what appears to be a cab interior, which is nice, unlike the Dash 8s. There are holes indented for where you can put the wipers at whenever the detail kit comes out. You do have the sand filler hatches, which are unfortunately molded on, but it is what it is. You do have the cab door, which is on the correct side, and you have a cab window, which is also correct. I know I might have gotten some flack on my Amtrak video for saying that the cab window on that unit is correct when it wasn't, but on this one, thankfully, it is. You do have spots for grab irons on this side, which is nice, as you don't have to drill out any holes. And I do think Walthers will make a detail kit for this in the future, depending on how well these units sell, and I hope we get another run of these, especially if we get them in BNSF Heritage 4, which is what the remaining SD75Ms are painted in. As you can see, we do have the ditch lights, which do turn on when the locomotive's going in forward. Unlike my Amtrak Dash 8, well, unlike the Dash 8s in general and the SD60Ms, these have the ditch lights, like the Gevos and Aces. You do have your walkway tread, which is nicely detailed on the front. As I get my little pointer, as you can see the little walkway tread detail. And that little smudge, I think that's a smudge. Nah, it's imperfections from the molding. As you can see, there are no MU cables or hoses, unlike the Genesis model, but you do have the snowplow and your Protomax coupler. So here's the conductor side of the locomotive. If we go to the cab section, on the cab there are no sunshades or mirrors, but it is what it is, as this is a budget-friendly locomotive, so you really don't get a whole lot of detail. But you do have the road number, which is nice and crisp, along with the little F towards the front by the stairwell. The trucks are decently detailed, in my opinion, even if they are a bit basic. You do have your bell molded on, which is nice. These radiator grills are unfortunately not see-through, unlike the Genesis model. You do have the fuel tank, which is decently detailed with the little red dots and where the fuel will go, and the fuel shutoff switch and the sight glass. You do have the beautiful Santa Fe logo on the side, which is nice and crisp. Like I said, on the front truck, the rear truck is basically detailed. These grills are unfortunately not see-through, unlike the Genesis model. But the ends on the handrails are decently painted, which is nice. Obviously, on the top, there are no PTC antenna arrays or anything on this, but you can add it yourself. And there are some more hole indentations for some grab irons and whatnot. This fan grill is just molded on, unlike the Athearn model. Obviously, the exhaust on this is just molded on, unlike the Athearn. The horn, at least, is decently detailed. Although, I think this is not the correct horn for this particular model. If it is, let me know in the comments below. I'm not familiar with horns, unfortunately. And like I said, the radiator fans, the fan grills on here are basic, unlike the Athearn model. Here's the back of the locomotive. As you can see, we find another headlight on the rear, which turns on when the locomotive's going forward. And again, no grab irons on here, but the holes are indented for where you can put them on. And the little numbers on top of the headlight, which is correct. Obviously, no rear ditch lights on this model, as Santa Fe don't really have locomotives with rear ditch lights. Even though NS took over this unit, or bought this unit out in the 2010s. As you can see, no MU cables or any other hoses back here, but you do have your Protomax coupler. The engineer side of the locomotive, you have the same basic detail, but you do have the brake wheel, which is nicely done. And the rest of the locomotive is the same, with the fan grills that are see-through, not see-through, unlike the Genesis model. And we're back to the front of the model again. Now, when you do pick this up, it is pretty heavy, so you will have some good pulling power on this, which makes up for the basic details. And I do say that this is a decent locomotive for the price. I got this at a Midwest Model Railroad for $144, and I got it with the Athearn -9, which is a fake bonnet model, so this unit and my fake bonnets will go good together. Anything else? Oh yeah, so I know the real life 222 was sold off to Norfolk Southern sometime in the 2010s and was unfortunately scrapped. I bought this model purely because I wanted a Santa Fe war bonnet locomotive in my collection. Well, another Santa Fe war bonnet locomotive, as I have an old Bachmann -8. So now I got this to run with that -8, and plus I want to get more Santa Fe power so I can have like a fallen flag special on my layout, similar to what my friend Steven the KC Railfan has. So now I got this unit. I'm thinking about getting the CN SD70I that they have at Midwest Model Railroad in this first run of SD70Ms/75Ms. And I think I want to get the Union Pacific model, even though it's red sill and I don't model red sill. Well, I have a older Athearn Genesis SD70M with the red sill, but I'm going to convert that to yellow sill. But I'm glad Walthers is doing these units, the SD70 series, as Athearn for the longest time has done them, as well as Cato, but they only did the Max. And I've been wanting a SD75M for a while, as I really can't afford the Genesis ones as they're too expensive for me. Thankfully, Walthers came out with these, and I hope these sell well so we can get a second run, as I want to get a BNSF H4 version in the future, and maybe a CN SD75I. So yeah, let's do one last 360 view before we close out the video. I'm sorry I haven't done model train reviews in a while. I decided to get back into doing them, as I really don't do model train videos that much, but I've been wanting to off and on for a while, as my good friends usually do model train videos, and I do collect a good variety of model trains, as you can tell. So yeah, this has been the product review on the brand new Walthers Mainline SD75M/SD70M/SD70I. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Take care, everybody.